Let's calm down here. Wow.
Oh my goodness. Alright.
Are we ready?
Can we go?
I
just really want to get these going.
I zoned out during my during my little.
Your story? Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
You got some sort of action.
Let's get something going here.
Here
Time
we
is
go.
up. The official launch button has been pressed. Where the slaps at? Blue team is Team Slaps. Versus purple team, who is Team Quiche.
Team Quiche, Team Quiche. Yeah. Q20.
My dad made a quiche one time, and it was the soupiest quiche I've ever seen in my life. I was like, "What? This is a liquid."
I think I've only had quiche once.
I think I have had it 1.5 times, if you want to count the one time I just described. I had it the one time to know what it's supposed to be, and the second time was a nightmare.
Oh my goodness! I can't really say it left an impact. So I probably had bad quiche the one time I had it.
I can't say that it was good quiche the first time. I don't know. I don't think quiche is that good. Either way,
yeah.
Bands coming out here. Rek'Sai Akali for the blue side. Teemo and Lux, well-informed purple team. Well-informed.
Yep.
Oh, are they trying to fully ban out? No, don't try to fully ban him out. Just remove the Teemo and move on.
Nah, Lux is a pretty good ban against him too. He's when his team has been banned out, he has a pretty dominating Lux game. So it's a pretty fair counter ban or follow-up ban.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. We get to finally see how deep Jimmy the Slayer's champion pool is, don't we? Maybe.
Yeah.
J4 is a bit of a surprising ban. I wonder if that's a target ban or somebody just really doesn't like it.
Or they want to spell it Raj.
They might want to spell out Raj.
I don't know about that. I do know that in this current patch that the pros have been saying that J4 is one of the best picks you can get for jungle.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and I assume it has something to do with the fact that Chilling Smite exists, and that's just so much CC on one person early.
That's true. I mean, with the Chilling Smite, you can definitely make your knockup a lot easier too.
Yeah, you can make it easier to hit. I would actually just Chilling Smite and walk up, give him the shield slow, and then knock.
Yeah.
Force the flash early, then close the gap.
I can dig it. Blitzcrank coming in for the purple team, by the way.
Yeah.
Haven't seen one of those in a while on the stream.
Yeah, and it's kind of a very binary pick, you know. You see a lot of these Blitzcranks come out, and for a full 20 minutes they miss all the hooks. And like that 135-minute hook lands, and they kind of just close the game. That's
just Blitzcrank.
Yeah,
just Blitzcrank things. Yeah. Unless he just shows up. Oh my goodness.
And says, you know what, I'm actually going to touch you now. Please no.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And let's see, I don't really want to commentate on much of anything until we see more of the team play.
Yep.
Team picks, I should say.
It's going to be some interesting games here. I'm kind of curious as to what Jimmy's going to pick up for this game. We have seen him on the Cho'Gath before, outside of these two Teemo and Lux picks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know that was quite effective last time he did it. I think you can kind of throw Jimmy on most anything, and he'll do fairly well.
I mean, you would expect that from a player as skilled as Jimmy. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's unreasonable to say that he could play, maybe not all champions, but he has a very wide pool of champions that he's comfortable with.
Yeah, and I think everyone who's got, a lot of wins under their belt, like you and I and Jimmy and, a lot of other people, you've seen a champion played enough that you get the general idea as to how they're supposed to operate, and it's just getting the muscle memory down while you're in the game, and you kind of fumble around early, and then by the mid-game, you've got it.
Yep, let's see. We do see Gnosis getting picked. We haven't seen a lot of Gnosis recently, but he's such an annoying champion to deal with.
Yeah, he's got that feel it's kind of that Fizz feel, I guess you could say, where you can dominate them for the first 15 minutes. But if they are constantly, if they're not dying too many times, and even if they're behind in a farm, they're still very useful in the late game, and they'll still one-shot people and do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of an issue. Like, I think that needs to be addressed. I don't think like a champion should be strong eventually, no matter what.
I agree. And I mean, even at the end of the day, Gnosis is Wither is just absurd. Like, that's part of why he's so good.
Right.
Like, Wither is so dumb.
See, why why is Wither allowed? Like,
I
and like,
don't-
because like the thing is like if it was in reverse, let's say that Wither started out with an extreme slow and then it tapered off, like that at least. I feel like that's a better situation than what it currently is, where it starts off like minimal and then gets extreme at the very end.
It's just so devastating, dude. It's Wither is probably one of my least favorite mechanics, aside from all of Poppy's kit.
I think it needs to be. Think they need to remove the attack speed slow completely.
That would probably make it a little bit more, or make it just an attack. Give it one of the two halves. Like,
Yeah, because
I
both is
think
just too much. You can't. They said it before, because Wither, believe it or not, used to be more extreme than it is right now.
I would believe it. Tarek used to have a 3 second stun. I mean,
Yeah, it used to be that Wither got up to like a 70% attack speed slow, and like you couldn't leave and you couldn't fight. And they're like, "Oh, well, we halved it, so now you can choose, whether you're gonna try to run." Which A, guess what, you can't. Or B, you're going to try to fight him. Which, since the attack speed slow exists, no, you can't. You can't do these things. These are not options that exist while Wither is around. And also,
Yeah.
the cooldown is too low in the late game because, hey, you're Nasus. And in order to stack your Q properly, you're going to build a cooldown reduction, which means your Wither's going to be up every 5 seconds, and it's got a 4-second duration.
yep. Like,
Or 3 seconds.
it's just,
Something like that.
it's so silly. Oh my goodness. Let's move away from our mutual hatred of Gnosis, though.
Yep. Oh, Dark Crimson Blade picks up the Azir in this game. It slips through the cracks as Purple Team is focused on banning out Jimmy the Slayer. And I'm excited to see some of that fantastic Azir play.
Yeah, we've seen DCB pick this 2 or 3 times now on stream, and the only problems we've seen with his play is that he tends to be a little greedy with his tower pushes. We've seen him stay far too long and cost his team big time for his overextension.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, mechanically, he's very sound on this champion.
That is very, very true. I'd say, like you said, if he just focuses a little bit less on pushing the lane, starts roaming more, because that wall can be used for so many things in terms of gank opportunities. And we know that he's good on doing the insect-style knockback with the ulti. We've seen him do it plenty of times in lane. If he goes to a lane and shows up and does that to someone who's unsuspecting, then that can really produce some serious money, especially if he shows up bottom lane, because he is so good at taking dragons.
Yes. So, all right. So, what about this actual matchup we see, the Azir versus Zed? What do you think this matchup's going to end up being like?
It's going to be a lot of bullying. It's going to go down for Zed in the early game. He's not going to be anywhere close to that Azir. These Sand Soldiers are so good at zoning. He's pretty much going to be reduced to farming with Extended Shadow and Q, just getting what kind of mains he can, waiting till level 6, and even at that point, a well-timed wall will put Zed far away from Azir, and it's going to be really hard for Zed, I think. This matchup is going to be really rough, but if Zed can get an early gank from Wukong, it doesn't take that much damage to really knock an Azir over once you get to him. He can really end up snowballing if he does get a lead.
Actually, it might end up, now that I'm looking at summoner spells and they have them locked in, it could be Azir versus Trundle in the top lane because of that teleport.
Oh, you know what? That is very, very true. They do have the Annie with Ignite down, and it's already Karis McDuff on Thresh who's going support with that Caitlyn. So it's probably going to be an Azir top lane, and if that's the case, same thing goes for Trundle. The only thing that's going to be working in Trundle's favor is he does have the sustained passive, but on the flip side of that coin, he does not have nearly as much mobility as Zed. So he's going to be, if he gets caught out by the Sand Soldier slow, he's going to be guaranteed taking, 2, maybe even 3 auto attacks.
Yep, very true. I mean, it's just going to be really, really hard for Trundle to farm because he also lacks the extended farming tools that Zed has available to him. So, I don't know. You're probably going to see a flask start coming out of Trundle, maybe an early back shortly after he uses up his entire flask.
Yeah, I'd say Flask early, get what kind of farm you can, but the XP is going to be the most important thing you can get on Trundle in this lane. Maybe even use your first 1 to 2 teleports on just sustaining in the lane. I mean, second teleport, if you do see a dragon opportunity, go for it, of course. But I would expect that in these games we typically don't see the super early dragons, so we're probably not going to see a dragon unless, there's a huge opportunity for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think our earliest dragon is maybe the 830 dragon, which is not super early, but that's a pretty reasonable amount of time. And red team could definitely take it, or blue team could take advantage of that Trundle first TP if they are aware of the map like that, and force an early dragon. Because this Caitlyn lane is such a bully lane, it's possible to push the bot lane away, call the Azir TP in after Trundle's already used his, and pick up a 5-6 minute dragon.
Yeah, they definitely could pull it off, as Sand Soldiers are really good. And just dealing sustained damage. I mean, he's as close as you're going to get as a marksman-style AP carry.
Also, Gnosis is phenomenal at early dragons. Once Gnosis gets 6, if he just shows up in ults, he does percentage maximum health.
Oh yeah, that's
AoE. So I would actually really love to see early dragon emphasis coming out of this blue team.
Shurima, the masters of taking away dragons, apparently. So overall, we see these two team comps here. We've got blue side with Annie, Thresh, Nasus, Azir, Caitlyn. Red side with Blitzcrank, Zed, Ezreal, Trundle, Wukong. What are your two, expectations? What are the win conditions for these two teams?
I'm really worried for blue team if this Wukong gets a really nice ulti, because Azir and Annie are super squishy. Caitlyn I expect to be a little bit further back, but if Wukong lands, he goes the classic Thresh route, goes full, 1 or 2 damage items before tanky.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be able to just annihilate Annie and Azir, or at least drag them out of the fight for a while.
Yep.
So I kind of expect from red team they're going to be looking to team fight, and they're going to be looking maybe either to split push with Zed, or try to flank with Zed and Wukong, try to pick off some of the weaker members, maybe land a hook or two. And from the blue team, this screams siege comp to me. Doesn't it scream siege comp to you?
Oh yeah, you just have so much range damage coming out of Caitlyn. Annie auto attacks are going to be fantastic for getting to the turret as well. But the Azir siege is super strong too. People underestimate the value of getting that additional bonus damage down on the turrets by activating your W, which summons your Sand Soldiers, and it can really chunk down turrets pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically going to be how well can blue control the side vision with wards and just general map awareness. Because if they ever let that slip, then I feel like a good blitz there, or a good blitz hook, or a good flank from losing this game.
Yeah, for sure. So we are now up in the game. I'm going to shift this chat a little bit higher here. Take a look at my side status screen. Everything looks to be in place. Good. Alright, so both sides coming out here. Interesting starting items. Actually, not really. Blitzcrank choosing to get that coin for the mobility. He's going to want that. For the mid-late game, Blitzcranks love to be running around very quickly and to get in position for that hook.
But it's a terrible lane item. It's just not what he needs to have. We talk about this every time. Coin is never the correct choice. Either if you need the additional sustain that the Relic Shield gives, especially as a melee support like Blitzcrank. It's so easy to get that pop.
Yeah, and in a bully lane here, it feels like when you choose that coin, it's like you're turning to your ADC and you're going, "Good luck, friend." From level 1. I'll see you at level 2. Push as hard as you can. Hopefully, I'll get a hook. That's basically what you're saying. And it's really rough in this situation with a Caitlyn Thresh because there's going to be a lot of auto attacks coming out. Dark Crimson Blade on the top side of the map there finds CD Light near the Baron pit and just forces him away. Does not want to give up any of this vision or anything. These auto attacks are so weak on Azir without his Sand Soldiers.
Yeah, but Annie's coming in. We're going to get a couple more autos and a Q down.
He gets chunked down there. He's got plenty of time to go back to base. Blue side, since they're all full health, could technically press the issue there and, really cause an inconvenience for him if they wanted to run after him. I'd say send Annie in there with a couple flame auto attacks and delay the back.
Yeah, I love the way we're seeing blue team play. They recognize that, take all the free damage they can. Red team being a little cocky with these dance moves.
Yeah, the Raven in the chat saying that I'd actually say a lane swap would be really good for purple team. That actually might be very true. Send Trundle in the 2v1 bottom lane versus Caitlyn Thresh. He could sit under turret for a while, but send your Ezreal Blitzcrank to the top lane, and if you land a Blitzcrank hook onto Azir there, you can probably guarantee yourself a decent kill. But you do throw your Trundle under the bus doing that. You do have to realize that.
Yeah, but he also has extreme sustain, with the way Trundle's passive does work. So it's not like he's going to get no farm out of the deal.
Right.
And I feel like he might actually get more farm then the Azir would get in the 2v1, so it wouldn't be that bad.
Right. Let's see. Just gotta zoom up to live here. Oh, did my game
Did your... I don't know, what happened?
I don't know, I feel like my... What time are you at? Are you at
Oh,
240? Yeah, there we go.
I'm at 240 in the mid lane. J-Corn goes forward, flashes forward, gets a nice stun, and the Ignite finishes off Zed, but does get the... J-Corn does get the... or does fall over too.
Yeah, Wukong getting very low in the jungle. Key Shell's gonna have to send back or head back to base, I believe.
Oh,
bottom
Hookmaster
lane,
is Carrots.
Yep, Carrots McDuff lands the hook down to KS Guru. They can go hard right here as there's really no return damage coming out from La Pena de Muerte. Good trade for blue side there, and they just drive this Blitzcrank back.
I mean... Oh my goodness, in the top lane too.
Oh
This
my goodness, yeah. DD Light is taking a beating here from these Sand Soldiers as Dark Crimson Blade just opts to ignore some of the farm there to get some serious harass down. DD Light needs to start chugging these potions. He's got some of them going on. He's going to use that passive to heal back up as well, so he's going to be spending a lot of time under his turret.
Yep, oh, that's unusual. I'm looking at the Skirmisher's Blade onto Gnosis. What do you think of that stretch?
It's interesting because I feel like you could get a lot more work done getting a Stalker's Blade or maybe even the Trailblazer just to increase some of that farming speed in the jungle with the Trailblazer. And then if you want to go a more ganky route on Nasus, you have that option. That Stalker's Blade opens up so many more gank options since it's just a really good CC. Range slow is fantastic.
No, I agree. It's definitely wonderful, and it's not like he doesn't have the ability. Like, his lanes are really nice to gank into. You can walk into an anti-stun, you can get the Thresh hook, so... Oh, it does look like Wukong's trying to sneak up onto DCB at the moment.
Yep, top lane looks like they're going to try to get a gank down. DD Light trying to throw down a little bit of bait. Trophy comes out as a hook lands at the bottom lane, but it looks like the bait's going to be perfect. The Trundle, oh my goodness, he flashes back in for the bite. I'm not sure if that was needed. Bottom lane, Chaos Guru gets the hook down onto Caitlyn there, and Jimmy just does the right thing there. Make sure he doesn't get any damage down on the enemy, because the last thing you want to do in that sort of situation is, eat a couple turret shots, and gets right back out of the fight using that lantern.
I mean, it was a great hook, but unfortunately all the minions hadn't died yet, so by Jimmy having patience, he took 0 tower damage there.
Yeah, but now he's able to stay in this lane. That Relic Shield we talked about earlier is going to heal him back up from this Thresh. Good Piltover Peacemaker after the trap gets stood on by KS Guru. It actually hits both Le Pene de Muerte and Guru there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at this coin, and the only thing I can think of why you would go this coin versus anything else is the mana regeneration, because you get plus 25 base mana regen.
Yes.
Because 3 or 4 Blitzcrank hooks is pretty much the maximum you're going to get in lane.
Yeah, mid lane. Key Shell shows up, where to Slaps at, actually gets taken under the turret, does not get taken out there, not enough damage is done. The Wither comes out from Nasus, but down at the bottom lane, a little spat goes down. Le Pene de Muerte throwing his heal down to make sure he stays alive. Top lane, DD Light decides to fight in the middle of the Sand Soldiers against Azir. I imagine that's not going to go too well for him. No, he gets chunked very low, while Dark Crimson Blade still has most of his health bar. Mid lane, Nick is trying to hold this against J-Corn as the poke keeps continually coming out, and he's going to start wandering towards the bot direction, maybe looking for this river crab.
Yeah, could be doing that. Could recognize that he's sent Ezreal back. So this could be a dragon play. I would love this as a dragon play, actually.
Yeah, that would be really good. Bottom lane, blue side has been pushed up, and team. What did I need? Blue team, I forgot.
Red team is Quiche. Hook comes into Guru, by the way. Nice backwards flay, too, just getting those last couple autos in. Blitzcrank passive does get popped. I don't remember what... I think it was Team Jimmy.
I think it was Team Slaps.
It might have been Team Slaps.
I think it's Team Slaps.
Yeah, because that's where the slaps are at.
Yeah, chat... Hydrailer in the chat saying that Trundle's doing a good job of keeping up the farm against Azir, and I have to agree. He's doing a fantastic job. As you can see, he has burned his teleport early in the lane for the sustain, but Dark Crimson Blade has done the same already. I mean, they've both burned their TPs, and they've got the same amount of pressure.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to mention. Like, Trundle is... He's taking these really aggressive trades that he's losing, but what he's doing by doing this is he's making DCB use his entire mana bar. And once that happens, Trundle's free to farm. He's free to do anything. Yet between the flask and his passive, he's just a juggernaut at sustaining in this lane.
Yeah. As he gets those resistances higher, every minion that dies near him is going to mean even more. And I like the fact that he looks like he's going for an early Spectre's Cowl. That regen that comes out from getting hit is going to be fantastic, and the magic resist he gets is going to be in his favor, as well as we see Annie showing up in the top lane, looking like she wants to try to dump a Tibbers down on him and possibly pick up a kill. Dark Crimson Blade not in really position to respond quite yet. Dashes in, Tibbers comes down with the stun there, and that's going to surely be a kill on DD Light. Really good roam on Annie's part.
Yeah, I mean, just really, really crisp movement. Zed does the best that he can. He pushes the wave into the tower. But he's not going to be able to get anything as he's standing on a ward trying to anticipate.
Jimmy the Slayer gets pulled in by KS Guru once again, and I thought that was going to actually turn out to be a kill, but he manages to get back out of that one.
One of the fundamental problems with Ezreal as a lane partner with Blitzcrank is he just does not have a lot of follow-up damage. Sure, the Q is a lot of damage. Nice backwards flay. The hook does miss on Ezreal there. But Ezreal just does not... He's so skill shot reliant, he needs a little bit of time to do his damage. If it was like a Graves or a Draven, they would have a lot more burst on these Blitzcrank hooks.
Yeah, a little bit of a tip there on Thresh. When you get a free backwards play right that, don't be afraid to wait it out a little bit. See how they're moving before you throw out the hook, because you do have that slow duration a bit. You want to maximize your CC at all costs, even if it means, waiting out your slow some.
Yep, for sure. And man, this gold in the bot lane is going crazy. Blitzcrank does hook KS Guru, but it's just going to be a little bit of harass from Caitlyn.
Ooh, Carrots McDuff doing a fantastic job here making sure that he gets this ranged harass down, and that's the beauty of Thresh against Blitzcrank, is you have the option to just get these auto attacks down where Blitzcrank really can't respond at all.
Yep.
It's just so good.
And I just keep looking. Oh my goodness, in the mid lane, just a quick stun coming on the J-Corn. Hook misses in the bot lane too. Nasa sneaking in on the Zed.
Ooh, good reverse push up in the top lane. It looks like J-Corn goes super deep in the mid lane. Did he live? He is going to get away from this fight as top lane. We see DD Light going hard on Dark Crimson Blade. This magic resist really paying off as Azir has been forced to pretty much buy that Forbidden Idol for the cooldown. Bottom lane, it looks like a hook had landed onto Jimmy the Slayer, and that's going to be a kill resulting for Team Quiche.
Yeah, it finally happened. We saw the tower getting hooked to the tower just provided just enough damage for Jimmy to go down there.
Yep.
Oh my goodness! And I think that final auto attack from the tower was either a ghost effect or somehow it got canceled because J-Corn got so far away. Because there was an auto attack that connected.
Right.
But I think it was because it had already applied the damage. It just took time for the visual to catch up.
Right. I think that was a auto attack from the inner turret mid lane and had already procced. Before it actually arrived on the screen.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, in the top lane. You see the 3-man roam coming up here too.
Yep, Wukong shows up in the top lane. Good ulti, but he need to make sure you throw down that crushing blow before you actually ulti. That is where your armor shred comes from, and it just enhances the damage you get from your Cyclone that much.
Yep, this top lane is going out of control. I mean, it's even farm right now, but Wukong going to just show up for money. Nasus recognizes there's 3 people top lane and goes straight for the dragon.
Yeah, he can probably afford to pop his ulti here. Just make sure that this thing goes down a little bit more quickly. As we see an Ezreal ulti coming out from base, it will nick the dragon as J-Corn shows up to the fight. He does not actually get it. It's going to be Jimmy the Slayer that gets the last hit on it. Piltover Peacemaker nicks him after he actually gets hit by the Tibbers. Will he walk away? No! Jimmy the Slayer just making sure he throws out these auto attacks continually, pulled in from KS Guru, and Lepeni de Muerte decides to turn back around, realizing that the play is actually happening. Headshot onto Lepeni de Muerte. It's going to do some significant damage, but Trundle has shown up to the fight now. Carrots is stuck in the pit with nowhere to go, and I think where the slap's at is in the exact same situation. Tibbers is going to come back to try to guard his girl, but I don't think it's going to be enough. On the backside of the pit there, Caitlyn gets pulled back in once again by Blitzcrank, and Ezreal finishes him off. Red team picking up some 3 kills there after that dragon play, and I think if Nasus had just dropped the ulti and they had finished up seconds sooner, they could have been out clean with no sacrifice.
I mean, he was greedy with his ult there, and it cost him valuable time. Sometimes it's better just try to burn things down and not save your cooldowns. That's always a risky. It was easy for us with Perfect Vision to see that in the top lane. DCB getting the insect with his wall. Oh my goodness!
He's so good at that. DD Light though gonna walk away after throwing out the trophy there, but he says, you know what? I think I could sit in here. I've got another flask charge and 3 more red pods, so I've got a good amount of sustain, and he wants to try to get in and utilize that passive healing as well.
Would you keep going MR after you finish this Spirit Visage, or would you try to go something else at this point?
I would go straight. I would probably go flat HP. I'd look at his build and say, "Oh, that's a Marlin Amicon. I'm not going to get any healing done this game. I probably want to get more health to make optimize my health pool here."
Actually, I guess what I'm actually trying to ask is, what do you think of going Locket right now? Oh my goodness, this is stupid Ezreal.
Oh my goodness, fantastic hook from Carrots McDuff. Make sure that he actually stays hooked onto Ezreal, even though he's shifting through another dimension there. Oh, Keishel shows up in the top lane. Dark Crimson Blade trying to dash over the wall is going to just get found out by Jay Corn and just knocked over immediately. Ward comes out from Nasus and the dog smells trouble. He says, "I gotta get out of here."
That's that classic DCB syndrome where we were talking about of his ear, where he just likes to push no matter the situation. But yeah, what do you think about, like, as a top laner? When do you think it's correct to go for those utility items, especially against like a double AP comp like this?
Right. Yeah, I feel like it's an interesting interaction, because when you go those more supporty items, you are less effective individually. So you're easier to focus target in those situations, but I think overall as a team play, getting the Spectre's Cowl and then going straight into Locket would not be an overall bet.
Oh, for people commenting, when I said stupid Ezreal, I wasn't commenting on the player. I do not like the fact that Ezreal can shift through anything.
Oh yeah, he gets blitz hooked and shifts halfway through the hook.
I apologize to anybody that thought I was making fun of Ezreal. No, I was making fun of Ezreal the character and his stupid mechanics.
Yeah. There's no way someone should be able to just shift out of things.
After he's already been grabbed, he's like, "No, I'm gone. Peace, dude."
Alright, DD Light showing up in the top lane once again. He's going to find Dark Crimson Blade, get the bite down. See, here's the thing about DD Light is he's got this health pool that he can really work with, and that's what buys him enough time to get serious damage down onto Dark Crimson Blade. He's going to walk through his wall and use it kind of like an Anivia wall that only he can get through. That's fantastic positioning there, and it's kind of like a Yasuo wall from Melee. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it does. Oh my goodness, this is so silly. Walls are dumb too.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the wall mechanic is interesting and cool, but when you're playing against it and you're stuck in a situation like Trundle there, you're like, ah, god dang it.
But I do like the fact we basically have two map editors fighting each other between the Trundle pillar and the Azir wall.
Yeah. It's like, I'm gonna make a thing. Oh yeah? Well, I'm also gonna make a thing.
But I do like that we see blue team.
Mid lane, it looks like Team Quiche gets the pull down on Nick, and he's going to end up under the turret. Good Tibbers lands on about 3 people there. One of those was a clone. And they're going to move that and just go ahead and try to take out this turret. Ezreal also comes through and Keishel was in the middle of the team with a Cyclone. Great pull from Guru. Is going to get Nick back into the fight, but Carrots McDuck responds with another one. Jay Court gets into the middle of the team, trying to take out Jimmy the Slayer, but the heal combined with the shield will mean that he will stay alive in the situation. Blue team now pushing forward. Team Slaps wants this inner mid lane turret. They put a defensive Azir brand turret behind them. Azir Industries sponsoring the blue team here.
Always, man, always. This is it looks like blue team finally decided that it is time to push. Caitlyn finishes that IE, gets her Avarice Blade, and this is a really strong power spike for him.
Yeah, these headshots are going to be hitting a lot if they do crit. Dragon is up in 1 minute and 55. That's going to be our next flight of contention here. Blue team's already in position, but red team is going to come back with full HP, so they're going to opt to go back to base, try to heal back, and hopefully rush back into that area to secure that for them.
Yes, I mean, definitely would like to see some Dragon emphasis right here from both teams, because this, oh my goodness. This is going to be, I don't know, red team's starting to get into a dangerous situation where they're going to start looking for these team fights, or these picks. And the place to do that is at this Dragon Pit.
Yeah, for sure. They've got so much so much burst damage. Like, if the Blitzcrank hook lands, only Zed really needs to respond to make sure a kill happens. As long as Blitzcrank also knocks him up and explodes with his ultimate, and Zed goes in, the kill will go down on pretty much anyone who's not Nasus.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised to see DCB isn't going for a second item Zonias against the Zed. Because if you get two champions with Zonias, it's so much harder for Zed to do anything.
It definitely is. Your key target's just going immune like that. Oh my goodness! Guru lands the pick over the wall on Carrots McDuff, and Jake Corn is considering going in on that. Key Shell Fox the Clone is trying to get into the middle of the enemy team once again, landing that Cyclone in a fantastic position. Jimmy the Slayer just leaving this fight here, realizing that all hope is lost as the red team's doing a fantastic job of grouping. On the back side of the team, though, team captain, where the slap's at, is going to show up and land the bear onto 3 people. But the flash in from KS Guru to the knockout punch is going to make sure that actually he's in place long enough to go down, but not before taking 2 people with him. DD Light showing up, trying to find Jimmy the Slayer once again, but top lane, there's so much pressure going down from this Azir. They need to make sure that they either get this dragon or make something happen. They've got their focus is split as Jake Corn uses the ulti on Jimmy and just gets back out. That will be a kill for him.
Yes, I mean, that was, they're going to lose dragon here. They could have probably not given up this dragon if they had been a little bit more conservative for that team fight, but DCB is just doing work as he gets this inhibitor tower, so yeah, he's going to probably give up his life for this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead, it's worth it.
I mean, I will trade 1 dragon for inhibitor tower at any point in the game.
Oh my goodness, because now what blue team's got to do is walk up there as 5 and just start, putting pressure on that after pushing out some of these other lanes. Mid lane, it looks like a little bit of an unexpected fight's going to go down. DD gets stunned out by the Annie, and now he's going to get played back by Carrots as well. Good CC, or just good target focusing on Carrots' part, just making sure that once the play was down, he knew that Trundle was going to die, and then switching his focus to KS Guru on Blitzcrank here. Full lands and pulls him on a turret, but nothing's going to come from that. No follow-up.
No follow-up at all, but I mean, this is just going to be another tower going down. Red team stayed a little bit too long after doing that dragon. Trundle was left with no mana. There were a lot of people that couldn't fight, so we should be seeing the siege comp come in at least once DCB gets to the lane.
Yep, definitely. Blue side backing up a little bit after that minion wave gets cleared out, and now they're just going to kite back, wait for DCB to rejoin the team, and Ezreal's continues. He wants to get that Tear of the Goddess stacked up as quickly as possible so he can get to his Muramana. That is the big power spike for Blue Ezreal. I do like how Jimmy is using these Caitlyn ultis. He's not trying to execute kills, he's just trying to get the initial poke damage down, as we see Wukong getting completely zeroed out. The Azir ball goes down, and that locks DD Light in place in the middle of blue team here. And then Azir picks up yet another kill onto KS Guru. Jake Corn shows up in the middle of the enemy team, gets exhausted immediately. Jimmy the Slayer kiting back towards that Azir Industries turret, and he will get killed out there.
Azir Industries was MVP. That team fight, DCB doing work, puts that tower up, actually insects someone with his wall, insects Trundle into his wall there, or into his turret there, and oh my goodness, DCB might actually die right now. Minions OP, dude.
Oh, it does not connect, and because of that, the Birdman will fly again.
Oh my goodness, that was crazy. But yeah, that whole team fight revolved around that Azir turret and how long they could keep people under it, because we saw 2 or 3 people go down to that Azir turret.
Yeah, that is so good. And if you can get it up in a Azir turret while a team fight's happening, or just before it happens, honestly, it can do some serious work for you, because it's like 100 damage per hit on a target, and that's significant. That's a lot of damage, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so much zone pressure, too. Like, people don't want to be under that tower, so they instinctively move away. I'm not sure what Jimmy's doing.
Oh my goodness, Jimmy the Slayer showing up in the middle of the enemy jungle there. The trap will save his life as he's able to flash over the wall. Clone comes out, but he's still seen by Wukong. Good crit is not going to be enough, though. Top lane, DD Light is going hard on where the slab's at. Gets stunned on a turret and forced to take 1 shot. Dark Comes the Blade shows up to support, though, and will force him away.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of curious what both teams are going to be doing now, because we're at that point in the game where there's not a lot of easy objectives for red team at the moment.
Right.
There is no dragon, there's only 1 outer tower. So blue team needs to be really, really careful with what they try to go for. They have to extend so deeply.
Yep. I would say what they want to do is throw up an Azir turret near top lane. Actually, no, you can't put it on the inhibitor turret. I would just walk towards that top lane inhibitor, honestly. You've got the anti-burst, you've got the zone control from Azir. I think they could pull it off.
I agree. I feel like before they do that, they need to put a huge emphasis onto ward coverage, just so they can't get... Because the last couple fights, we've seen Wukong get some nice angles.
Yeah, it's
And they
definitely
gotta
been able to
avoid
get in.
that. Or at least delay it as much as possible. Nonsense gets hooked right here.
Yep, good trophy's gonna come up there. The response hook from Carrots McDuff is gonna pull Guru in, and the play backward is going to keep him there. DCB wall locks him in jail as he goes low from a little bit of Ezreal poke. DD Light caught in the middle of blue side team, and there's just way too much zone control coming out of a Zero wall, Thresh box, Wither. There's too many things that can keep you in place for extended durations of time for really Red to make these quick fights that they want to try to get.
Yeah, I really hope DCB plans on TPing back to this inhib. It's going to be really hard to push without his... Well, they might be able to just push it for free. He should be able to just walk and clean up the spot wave.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. Wukong ulti is coming up in just a second as we see DCB showing up. Good Bear's going to come down and zero out a huge amount of the enemy team. KS Guru shows up, holds his chest, and just farts out some electricity. But it's not going to be affecting anyone.
One sec, I gotta see something. J-Court applied his ult to Caitlyn, the big red X appeared, and he died before he could actually disappear.
Oh my goodness.
He died while trying to start his ulti. But yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a good... It's not gonna be... It should not be game over, as the death timers are so short and the minion waves are so far away, but this is getting rough for Red Team, man. They are down only 8k, but 8k is substantial at the 23-minute mark.
Man, so Azir, I like this build that he's got going on. Yes, it doesn't have the Zonians, but in terms of sheer soldier damage per auto attack, it's huge. I mean, being able to get that cooldown reduction early on is going to make sure your ulti's up a lot. You're going to be able to spam your soldiers out. You're going to be able to move them around quickly, and they're going to attack like the Dickens. So this Azir is probably doing so much damage. I'm going to have to check out the charts after this game.
Yeah, I mean, DCB's just piling damage, and I guess his strategy for dealing with Zed is just to kill him before he can ult.
Yeah, pretty much. Just make sure that he goes down and try to zone him out with the wall as much as you can, really.
Yep, blue team looks like they're going to make the dragon play, or at least try to get some vision coverage down, as there are two members there and they are putting wards down.
Yeah, red team needs to make sure that they are grouped on this fight. The ulti comes out of KS Guru when I assume he's trying to press number 4 for his sweeper.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I don't know, maybe he just really felt like, farting out some lightning there.
Yeah, ping's going down saying Trundle is top lane, go ahead and do the dragon, and it looks like he needs to go ahead and TP in. Red side has already backed up though. That means that they're not going to be able to respond to this at all. They need to get out of this jungle as well. They've seen what happens when they fight in this area. J-Corn spots out, Dark Crimson Blade, good wall goes down, and now J-Corn is forced to shadow back into the middle of the Sand Soldiers. He does get the kill, but it's going to be Jimmy who picks up the kill directly after that little 1v1 fight in the Tri-Brush. Now blue side's got the pressure here, and it looks like they're going to use this time to siege up this bottom turret.
Yeah, I feel like that 1-for-1 is really okay for the blue team. They didn't really lose any pressure, and that Trundle's still committed into the top lane trying to deal with the super minions.
Ooh, looking for the hook there. He misses his, but Carrot says, nuh-uh, I've got magnets on the tip of my hook, and you are made of metal, my friend.
Yeah, so it's really, I don't know if they need Trundle to be... Actually, they don't have anybody that can really answer these super minions except for Zed. You know, Ezreal will go on that blue build. He hasn't even built the damage item yet. He finally gets his BF sword.
Oh my god, there's Needle going into the middle of the team fight here. Hook masses from Carrots McDuff. Wukong gets into the middle of the enemy team, but he's just so squishy at this point that it doesn't really matter. Caitlyn takes a knee, it's not enough damage as they just go ahead and force this turret over. And what happened was they got this top lane inhibitor so early on while the enemy team was behind that it's just so difficult for anyone to force any of these super minions over. I mean, these things have how much HP? 3k? That's just so much to handle at a time.
Oh no, KS Guru is truly meeting the Hook Master. Zed goes down again. That's going to be game, guys. As long as, all of blue team doesn't run onto the Nexus.
Pretty much. DD Light going in, is going to fight a little bit, swing his baseball bat a couple times. Keyshell shows up in the middle of the enemy team, does end up taking down Jimmy the Slayer at the very tail end of the fight. But that's going to be a Nexus explosion, my friends, and that's going to be the game. Blue team takes the victory. Good job, team. Slaps.
Slappy slap slap. That's where the slaps are. Oh, that's why I'm going to have to relog again.
Uh-oh.
That's frustrating.
Alright, so let's take a look at these damage graphs. So I want to see how much damage Azir did. And Wow, that's actually interesting. Caitlyn with the highest damage in the game. Jimmy the Slayer just making sure that he's constantly always throwing down auto attacks on enemy champions during these team fights. You'll notice that he always uses ulti before a team fight even happened. That way you don't get interrupted in the middle of the team fight. The last thing you want to do on Caitlyn is take a knee while action is happening, while people are in auto attack range, or while there's other targets that need to be getting hit. You know, while other things are going on. He just made sure that he was in position to get auto attacks down and threw him out there, and that's what you want to do on